All right, guys, welcome to week 4 of social media and sports marketing. This week, we're going to talk about sales, customer service with social media, and ROI, return on investment or return on influence, and how you measure all these things and how you use analytics tools like Google Analytics and Hootsuite to measure your campaign and to measure your effectiveness. So we're going to go through all these 3 platforms. Then we're going to end by going over your assignment 4 and looking at some of the analytics tools. All right. Take myself off screen. Oh, actually, before I get myself off screen, how many of you guys have been watching what's going on in social media this week and in sports? Did you see the NASCAR brawl with Jeff Gordon and how fast it was all over the internet and how many people were tweeting about it? It just goes to show you the influence of social media in sports and how you can have a negative response with social media and how some people could see it as a positive response, like ESPN, for example, can see it positive, but the sponsors see it negative. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, let me quickly get started. All right, so we're going to start with talking about ROI. What is ROI? In terms of social media, what is ROI in terms of what it typically means? ROI generally stands for return on investment, how much profit you make off your initial investment. So you have initial investment and what you expect to return from it. So how do you calculate ROI? Basically, you take the gain from the investment and subtract the investment amount, and then you divide by the investment amount to get your total of ROI. And that's if you're calculating regular ROI, not return on influence, but regular return on investment. So, for example, if you had $1,000 return and your investment was $100, you would subtract $100 from $1,000 and divide by 100, and your ROI would be 10. So it's pretty simple math to calculate that. I want you guys to take a look at this video. It talks about ROI in social media.
More businesses than ever are devoting an increasing amount of resources to social media marketing. But how do companies know if these efforts are effective? Almost 3/4 of chief marketing officers believe their social media efforts will generate hard ROI this year. And almost all of them are starting to look beyond sales goals and web metrics to identify social media's value. Social media is now used to achieve business objectives by 76% of companies, and 64% of marketers are integrating social media into their strategies. CMOs are using a variety of metrics to measure their social media marketing activities. More than half of them pay close attention to the number of positive customer mentions, fans, and page contributors, and nearly half track the number of page views, impressions, customer posts, and brand mentions. Over the long term, social media prompts significant drops in marketing costs. Nearly 3/4 of marketers closed new business with the aid of social media, and more than half realized gains in search engine ranking when investing a minimum of 6 hours per week. Current experiences reveal the platforms that deliver the most significant ROI. CMOs say Facebook is the most valuable platform, while ratings and reviews, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube were also ranked as delivering significant ROI. More companies plan on increasing their presence on YouTube than any other platform. Still, a comparable number of businesses plan to increase their presence on Facebook, blogs, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Because every business has different objectives, ROI will be different for everyone. Before adding social media to any marketing campaign, companies should clearly define their objectives. In addition to identifying your objectives, Forrester recommends 4 factors to consider: the impact to your bottom line, your brand, your ability to manage your reputation, and your digital assets. By defining the goals and metrics that are right for your social media campaign, you'll be able to measure your results and ultimately determine your return on investment.
you guys looked at a lot of the factors that were in this video when you created your campaign this week, such as setting your objectives and looking at your brand. And at the end of your campaign, you're going to be measuring your ROI essentially. So in social media, what do you think is ROI? It's essentially it is the measure of social influence. And what do you guys think, based on watching the video and everything you've been reading, is the best way to measure your ROI? The answer is there is no best formula to measure ROI of social media. The way you measure your social influence depends on the goals you set up for your campaign. So, what's going to work for your individual campaign? It's not going to fit the same for everything. Just like how we looked in the beginning, how there was this formula for ROI when you're looking at the monetary ROI. For influence, there is no specific way to measure. It all depends on your goals. People use metrics, though, to measure their social influence. And excuse me, they use built-in tools or analytics tools to gather information. These tools are things that, like Google Analytics, that you guys have been using throughout the whole course, Tweet Meme Analytics, PostRank Analytics, Hootsuite, and the list goes on. There are so many. In the last video lesson, I actually showed a list of different tools that you can use to measure your social influence. These tools can help you measure and track the number of times an email was viewed or how many times someone clicked on a link. They can show you what blog page is the most popular and how many times someone viewed that specific blog post. You can see how long they stayed on a specific page and looked at that content. You can track how many people shared your Facebook content, Twitter, and Stumble Upon, as well as how many followers and what topics of yours were trending. Each tool is going to give you different results. So while you might be looking at page views and stuff with your Google Analytics, you might use Cred or you might use Clout to tell you your activity on Facebook and Twitter and how many tweets, how many retweets, things like that, getting this real-time data. And you can see different tools here alone on the screen. You see Cred, Clout, reallikers.com. You can see Blogger and Google Analytics and what feedback they give, and Facebook Analytics. So looking at this stuff, if you had a sports team basically that had no social media presence after their 4-month campaign, they had no social media presence, and after their 4-month campaign, where their goal was to grow brand awareness. And they had the results that they ended up with 10,000 followers on Facebook, with 40,000 likes, 20,000 followers on Twitter, and their content was retweeted 60,000 times, and their YouTube video had 100,000 hits. Would you say that their campaign was successful by analyzing these results? I would say yes, it was very successful and it was worth the investment. And by investment, I mean time, because time is what is the cost of social media. Because why most of the tools, not all, because a lot of analytics tools do come with a cost, but most of the tools do not cost anything. You have time, you have people creating graphics. So it's your people and your time that are your cost and your investment in social media. So in that example, do you guys think it would be important for this team to continue using social media to increase their brand presence? I would say so. And if they weren't seeing good results, they might want to look at reevaluating what they did in their initial campaign and how to make changes and what they were doing and see if they can get better results and so to make it worth it. All right. Most people at some point want to know how social media can make them money. The first point I want to make is that social media won't really make you money itself, but it's more like a cheerleader to a football team. It can help drive traffic and grow connections, but it's not meant to be a selling tool. And people who use it as a selling tool usually won't be as successful. So now that you understand that, let's talk about how social media is the cheerleader in generating revenue. First, we're going to talk about finding prospects, then turning those prospects into leads, and briefly turning leads into customers. So the first topic is finding prospects. In the last lesson, we talked about how to find your audience through keywords and by looking at who your competitor's audience is. In this lesson, I'm going to discuss how to drive traffic to your website with a few social media tools. And these tools are blogs, Facebook, Twitter, and StumbleUpon. There are other tools, but I'm going to focus on these for this lesson. So first, finding prospects with blogs. How can blogs help drive traffic to your website? For your guys' task, you're trying to drive traffic to your blog, but a lot of people use blogs and teams use blogs to bring people back to their website. Having extra content on the web that embeds links into your website will help attract SEO traffic, search engine optimization traffic. This means that when someone Googles your site will be higher ranked. And most people want to get their site ranked within the top 3 spots. And so if you're looking at this graphic, you can see one of the ones that look like they're clicked on in the background. You'd want your listing to be in one of those type spots so that it would be more likely to be clicked on. And you definitely would want it to be on the first page of Google, so that people would be, again, more likely to click on your blog. Click on your blog or click on your website. Also, while you provide information and engaging content through blogs, you'll gain subscribers who will visit your blog on a regular basis. This gives you a list of prospects and a list of people that you can then target in a different way. Also, a blog can help build credibility in your industry by having informative content out there and using it to have discussions with potential clients and customers. People will use your blog for content, and then they'll keep coming to you to see what else you're putting out there, and you'll become a viable resource on your topic of interest. So some of you guys, you had like workout blogs, and some of you may have sports blogs or fashion blogs. You want to become an industry leader and use your blog to create content that people deem as being valuable. The best way to optimize your blog, we've been talking about this a little bit through the course, but one is something I actually don't even have here, but it's to make sure you're having images and content on there so that draws people in. You also want to make sure that your images are at the top of your blog post, and you want to have interesting headlines, and you want to make sure that you at least have 250 words in your blog post, because this again helps your Google ranking. Other things you want to do that are listed here is promote and republish content. You might have some great information on your website, but it really hasn't been viewed in a while, or it's not highly visited page. So you can recycle that content from your website and get it out there to your blogging audience, reusing information. They also provide an opportunity to respond to each person's comment individually. A website doesn't always provide you that, and it helps you create a connection with your audience. So if you set up your blog to allow nesting comments, you can then directly connect with a person and build a relationship. And nesting means that your response comes right underneath and doesn't go to the bottom like Facebook does. Another key tip is to make your RSS feed prominent on your blog. You guys all had to have an RSS feed when you created your blog post, and you can see it on the trade rumors. You see the little orange icon. They're making their RSS feed prominent so that people can subscribe and know when they're getting the most current information and when it's being posted up there. And this is why you'd want to do this, so that people will subscribe to your post and receive alerts, and then hopefully retweet and re-Facebook and leave you comments. And then the last thing I want to talk about for blog optimization is promoting the use of social media outlets in 2 ways. One, you want to make it easy for them to share content. And 2, you want to make it easy for them to follow and like your pages. And this is why you guys put the buttons on your blog. You put the ones that show them where your page is, and at the very bottom of your post, you have the share buttons for them to use. So this is the reasoning why you put that information there. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is finding prospects with Facebook, and how you can find prospects on Facebook and target people. The first thing would be through groups. So if you have a sports apparel company that sells football jerseys, and the company was called Custom Sports Apparel, and you created a group with that name, there's a good chance that people won't join your group. Why do you guys think that people wouldn't join a group called Custom Sports Apparel? The first reason is that it looks commercial, and people don't like being targeted with ads on social media. They like the social part, and they like the transparent and transparency and people actually engaging in conversations. So they might not want to join something that, number one, they don't have a connection with already, and number two, that looks commercial. Also, it doesn't appeal to an interest. So with groups on Facebook, you want to pick an interest that relates to your product and create a group around that. So you could have a group centered around fan pride or football talk. Once you have people in your group, you have the ability to direct message them. And so this is one big perk of having or connecting with people via groups on Facebook. Fan pages on Facebook. This is what you guys created in your first week and what you guys used probably in your campaign. These pages are named after your company brand name. The power behind a fan page is that you can import videos, photos, and links to your blog post, and fans can leave you messages on your wall. They can then share your content or recommend your page to their entire contact list at once. Unlike a lot of things that they can only share to one person at a time or groups of 20, they can send it to every single person on their list. And for some people, this is thousands and thousands and thousands of people that they can share your content to. Apps. What's good about apps is that one, they open your content. I'm sorry, your content up to a company. And what I mean by that is when you sign up for an app, you sit there and say, yes, they have access to my content, or yes, they have the ability to repost my content. When you're doing that, the company, the brand that's creating the app, gets to see all your demographic information. They might get to see all your friends. They get to see all your likes. They get to have all this information, which is valuable marketing information to them when you have that. The second reason why apps are popular is that they draw people in and influence them to invite their friends to the app and to share their scores. And then they can have they can share it, number one, in their wall feed, and they can also bring their friends in to make them want to use the app. Think about the success of Farmville had with this marketing tool alone, and how people were talking about it and became a product name. And every time people were joining Farmville, it was this fun experience for them. But number one, they were then sharing things on their wall, which got Farmville's name out there. And number two, they were gathering all this information about everyone who was actually using the app. All right. Finding prospects with Twitter. So, how would you find prospects with Twitter? Excuse me. Is a key to build a following on these sites so that your content is shared with other prospects. That's one of the biggest things that you want to do with Twitter and have a bigger following. So, you can do this by following others and even asking them to follow you back. It does work. You don't want to be too annoying doing it, but you can ask them, hey, can you give me a follow back? Being active and participating. Reply to other people's posts and share their content. If you guys aren't doing this in your campaign that you just created, make sure you start doing it, and that you can then hopefully get people to share your content. You can also ask people to share your content. That also works, saying, hey, would you mind retweeting this? Or if it's for a cause, hey, I know you're related to this cause. Can you retweet my content? As a rule of thumb, as I mentioned before, the content ratio for Twitter is 20-80. 20% you, 80% outside content. So 20% of your content can link people back to your blog. And 80% of content should be retweets, and tweeting comments or content for outside blog posts or outside articles that you find useful, or even tips, but it doesn't necessarily have to link back to your post. So make sure you're doing this as well in your campaigns if you have not done it. Doing this is going to give you optimum results on Twitter, and also it helps you find prospects and helps you create a following. All right. The last thing I'm going to talk about with finding prospects is finding prospects on StumbleUpon. If you guys did not incorporate StumbleUpon into your plan or Dig, I suggest that you guys do this. It creates a huge following. People can get thousands and thousands and thousands of views to their blog with StumbleUpon alone. And it just generates an audience. I think I've mentioned this before. I've gotten thousands and thousands of views just by putting a simple link in there and having it something that people like. What people tend to find the most compelling on Stumble Upon, or things that work the most, are having a strong title and making sure you have imagery in your post that Stumble Upon can pull an image from, and incorporating lists like the top 10 football upsets of all time, or if you're, I think some of you guys are doing fashion, doing the top 10 fashion looks, or top 10 worst hockey moments, or exciting extreme sports moments, or ventures that you can take. So using lists will draw people in with Stumble Upon and draw them to your blog. Make sure, as I said, you add images. If you are using Stumble Upon to your blog posts, these, number one, not only do they provide intrigue, but Stumble Upon pulls images from your post to use. And if you don't have an interesting image, people aren't going to want to view your post. Posts that have an image are 200% more likely to be clicked on than just a post without an image. With StumbleUpon, you can share your post with others on StumbleUpon or outside and ask them to vote for your post to go up and down. The more popular your post is, the more likely it is going to be seen. And you can also, they offer a service where you can feature your post and pay per hit for 5 cents a hit. So if you want your post to be seen on the front, you can pay for people to do it and to view your post. And then you can only do that from a certain time period. And once you get so many hits, it's automatically going to be up there and drive traffic to your post. So that's something that you want to consider. So adding images, having a strong title, using lists, asking people to vote, and paying per hit, and using it. Just using Stumble Upon, there is a good chance that you will get a lot of followers to your blog post. So it takes seconds to add your content in, so I would suggest using it. All right, the next step after you find prospects is turning these prospects into leads. Once your brand, once you have your brand and you know the people you have your prospects, you want to drive them to your website and you want to capture their information. So how do you do this? How do you generate these leads? If applicable to your brand, you can have a membership section or something like fan rewards. This might not be for everyone, but if it applies to your brand, you can capture valuable information by doing this. You can make it easy to capture information and to sign up by using Facebook and Twitter Connect tools. As you can see in this image in the top right corner, instead of them having to re-enter in their information, they hit Facebook Connect, and that opens all their Facebook information to the Gamecocks in this example, or to your brand if you use the Facebook Connect button. You can also capture information through email lists. So why would someone want to give you their email? If you provide them with something of value, like a newspaper or a white paper or a free ebook in exchange for your contact information or for their contact information, people are more likely to give it to you. Even the ebook that you guys are using, I typed in information and gave them my information and I got the ebook. So it's kind of giving this trade for people to want to subscribe and for you to gather their information. Companies that utilize these tools end up with more qualified leads to share with their sales team. And instead of leads that just really aren't relevant to the brand. It really shows that if someone's interested in content that's relevant to your brand, that they're more likely to use your product or buy your product. And briefly, the next step would then turning leads into customers. Once you've gotten to this point, your job with social media is done as far as sales is concerned. However, and the next topic, which is customer service, we'll talk about the role of social media in regards to keeping and gaining customers once you guys have gotten customers. So, like I said, at this point, you hand it over to your sales team, and it doesn't mean your job's completely done, but as far as turning them into customers, your job is done. All right, so once you have customers and you have fans, you want to create great customer service. And social media can be the tool for your company, or it might not be. But if you're going to use social media for customer service, you can use it for two things. One is technical and service support, and the other is reputation management. Most likely, people are going to write about your company, whether you're using it for customer service or not. So it is a good practice to have somebody at least monitoring your brand on social media. So if you're using social media for technical and service support, the the benefits of it are that it's quick and easy, that it provides a personal experience, and it provides mass exposure. And I'm going to get into each one of these points. So when you think about customer service or contacting customer service, what are the things that you dread the most? If you're doing it via phone, is it the wait time? Is it being redirected to tons of different departments? Or is it the extra hassle of having to actually call someone and wait and wait and wait? So by providing another outlet for people to reach you via social media, you can take away that annoyance factor of you have someone who is constantly monitoring your social media accounts and getting right back to people. Also, something else I like to point out is that you don't want to create separate accounts for customer service. The reason why you wouldn't want to create a separate account for customer service versus having an account for your brand is that people are going to get confused, and it's going to create a problem. They might send it to the wrong account, and it becomes more work, splitting your social media efforts. So you wouldn't want to do this. But again, it's the benefits of using it is that it's quick and it's easy for your people. It creates a personal experience. So you're getting that one-on-one, and people feel like they know you, and people can easily find you, and it has that mass exposure. So let's look at some of these examples right here. Comcast Cares. At Jane Price, any of us would be happy to assist. At Comcast, Bonnie is on right now, and we are all around. So they are reaching out to the person saying that the person that they're contacted isn't available, but anybody here would be able to help you, and quickly replying. At the Royal Dutch Airlines one, we just sent you a direct message, Aida. Basically, someone sent a message to them, and they were direct messaging her back because they didn't think it was something that publicly should be seen. But they wanted to contact her publicly and gave her, they responded to her in her issues. At Starbucks, hello, Twitterville. I posted some news stories this week. Is that interesting to you? I'm here for you, so let me know what you want to see. So they're using it as a proactive customer support thing, saying, check out some information. What do you guys want to see? How can we connect with you? And in this other one, you can kind of see that someone wrote something out there. They put, I'm thinking since I'm blogging somewhat more regularly, I should look into more tribes and adding my own tribe. Somebody from the site then said they agree. Let me know if they can help. So they were proactive, even though the person wasn't reaching out to them for customer support. They then saw the post and just contacted them, creating a personal experience so that if the person did have any issues, they would know that they could contact them. All right. Reputation management is why a lot of companies go to social media for customer service. Excuse me. This includes being proactive or proactively responding to situations and dealing with bad publicity. So let's break down each one of these situations. Responding proactively. Using monitoring tools online. Excuse me. It's important when monitoring your online presence to use monitoring tools. So you can see what's being said about your brand and to make sure you're proactively responding to both good and to bad statements. You can do this with tools like Google Alerts, Twitter search, and paid tracking tools like Radian6 and Nielsen's Buzz Metrics. It's so important to make sure you are getting back to someone right away so that something's not brewing and it doesn't get too big, and so that it doesn't become go viral with bad information about your brand. So if you are seeing what's being said and you see something negative out there, you can quickly go in and respond and take over. Or if something's being positive, you can sit there and repost it out there so people can see the positive comments that people are saying about your brand. And using tools to do this, like Twitter search, just putting in your brand name and seeing what's being said about your brand, or Google Alerts, you can put in your keywords that we've talked about that are relevant to your brand and your brand's name. And anytime something's put in Google, you'll be alerted, or search engine rankings, you'll be alerted that it was out there, so you can respond. and using paid tracking tools like you can see in this first image, where it's pulling everything out about your brand, and it's being more specific to your brand. Reputation management is another thing. Sorry, did I skip one? No, I didn't. Oh, I did. Okay. No, I didn't. Sorry. I got ahead of myself with something. All right. So, handling bad publicity. If you have bad publicity and someone says something negative about your brand, how do you handle it? As you can see in this example here, I don't know if probably many of you guys heard about this. Kevin Smith was on Southwest Airlines or trying to fly on Southwest Airlines, and he got thrown off his flight because they said he was too big to fit in a seat and they didn't have any additional seats for him to purchase. Well, Kevin Smith has a huge Twitter following, and he's a pretty well-known director. So when this happened, the first thing he did is went to Twitter and wrote this post: "Dear at Southwest Airlines, I know I'm fat, but Captain Laysath really really justified in throwing me off a flight for which I was already seated." This tweet went viral. And people were responding, and it was all over the media. And it didn't just end there. He kept responding and responding. However, with that said, Southwest Airlines, whether they were right or wrong for doing it, had a plan and they took action. Right away, they replied with, at Kevin Smith, "Hey, Kevin, I'm so sorry your experience tonight. Hopefully we can make things right. Please follow so we may direct message." Because they want to direct message him, and for them to direct message him according to his setup, he had to follow them. They put, "Hey folks, trust me, I saw the tweets from at Kevin Smith. I'll get all the details and handle accordingly. Thanks for your concern." So they're now reaching out to everyone else who is tweeting them. And then they put, "I read every single tweet that comes into this account and take every tweet seriously. We'll handle at Kevin Smith issue ASAP." Again, reaching out to everyone and letting them know that they're going to handle it. And I've read all the tweets all night from at Kevin Smith. He'll be getting a call at home from our customer relations VP tonight. So now they're showing that they're even taking someone higher up and contacting him. So they did a few good things here. One, they were quickly dispelling of any false information that might be out there, and they were sitting there showing that they were concerned and that they were going to handle the information right away. They also they had a plan, basically, that they knew that if they saw bad information to quickly reply. And you guys should have a plan for dealing with bad publicity, and be able to quickly dispel false information and put a positive spin on something if it's false, put a positive spin on it if it's true, and quickly dispel the information if it's false, or simply ignore it if it's pure opinion. That's one way you could deal with it. You can respond quickly and help control the message, or you can your response should be short and to the point. Your response should also seem impromptu but not unprofessional. So you want it to seem not like you've totally planned your response and that it's not an automatic response. It should also be warm, genuine, and authentic. People want that personal feel when they're dealing with social media, and when they're doing that. So you want it to be authentic and not feel like, okay, they're just pushing this off and no one's really going to get back to me, or it might not be a personal person getting back to me. It could be anyone. The response also must be in the right medium. So you wouldn't use social media to respond to shareholders or to mainstream media. You would tell them that you're going to direct message them, or if they were the person writing you, or you wouldn't want to put content out there if it was negative and you would want to contact them directly. It also helps to have a relationship with your customer prior to the incident. That would be a good thing with bad publicity. But if you don't, use one of these other techniques and use the right person in your company to respond to an incident. Your company CEO might not always be the best or most appropriate choice, because it might not be somebody that they can connect with. So you want to look at every situation when you're dealing with bad publicity and make sure that that it is the right person. So in short, have a plan, have short and to the point responses, respond quickly, be impromptu but not unprofessional, have warm, genuine, and authentic responses, and your response must be in the right medium. Do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions about this, please contact me. We're going to go into your assignment 4 right now, and talk about that really quickly, and look at some other social media then if you don't have any questions. So assignment 4, the goal is to understand how to measure the results of social media campaigns. So you guys just all created your campaign, and as you're running your campaigns this week, you're going to be gaining results in your analytics reports that will measure these results. So the first thing in your assignment 4 you have to do is generate an analytics report for every tool that you're using. So if you're using Google Analytics, you need to have a Google Analytics report, and make sure that you're running a full report and not just giving me a screenshot. And if you need help doing this, I will show you how to do this. Also, you can use a screenshot for if you're using Cred, or if you're using Clout, things that you can't export, but make sure it's very visible. And like Hootsuite, make sure you give me a report for that. And Blogger, if you're using Blogger Analytics or Facebook Analytics, make sure you're running full reports. Combine them all into one PDF document. So I only want one document of all your reports together, and all need to be PDFs. Each individual report needs to have a title page showing the sources of the results if it's not visual. So if I can't visually tell that it is Clout, then you need to be able to give me a cover page, or at least put a headline telling me where you got the source from. So if it's not visually telling me that it's a Blogger analytics report, I want to say that, and so on. So that's what that one means. Once you run your reports, which you don't need to put any of your own data except for possibly a title, and then combine them into one PDF document, you need to take that information and create a creative infographic. Creativity matters a lot on this part. I gave you tools in your sources on Pinterest that you can use that will help you create a report. And I believe I actually have it in the assignment as well. Not a report, sorry, an infographic. So if you're not so graphically inclined and can't create it on your own, use one of these tools. And even if you are graphically inclined, you might want to use one of these tools to help make sure you have the right formats. You've been looking at infographics through the entire course, so you should have a feeling of what one should look like. Create one infographic representing your brand and your findings from your analytics report. This should include what the aim and your goal was, and it should be really I should be able to tell what your aim was and what your goal was from looking at your analytics report. I should be able to tell what your brand is in not your analytics report, sorry. Step back a second. I should be able to tell it from your infographic, and I should be able to tell all this information from your infographic, your brand, some of your goals, your aim. It should all be present there. It needs to represent or report accurate data based on your reports. So if it's something I'm seeing there, I should be able to also see it in your reports, unless it's something that you're coming up with creative outside your reports. But any analytical data that is being pulled should also be seen there. Infographic needs to be visually stimulating and represent your brand again. So make sure, if your brand is fashion, that you're using fashion elements, and that maybe you're relating it to something else in fashion as well, and creating interesting facts and adding them into it. Another thing I want to make sure you guys do is at the very bottom, as you saw in all your infographics, you're putting all your resources that you use to create your infographic. So I expect to see these at the bottom of your infographic. And then lastly, after you create this really pretty visually graphic infographic, I want you to create a findings report. This needs to be a minimum of 1 page long, and it shouldn't be hard to do that. Most people in the past have done more than that, way more than that. It must include your observed trends, your observed successes, and your observed failures. And it must include a reflection of the adjustments you would make to improve your campaign success. So, what are things that you saw trending based on your results? What are things that you saw that were successful? What are things that you saw that weren't successful? And based on all that, what adjustments could you make to your campaign to improve your campaign success? It's not all that you may have gotten 100 or thousands of followers. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you being able to analyze your results and see what you did good, see what you did bad, and make sure that you put these into different paragraphs, obviously, and you don't just combine it all in one. So I want to see clearly what are your observed trends, clearly what are your observed successes, what are your observed failures, and what could you have done better in your reflection. If you can also then PDF this one, that would be great as well and help me. It should take only about 6 hours to do this, and it is 15% of your grade. So it's important that you do this well. And if you have any questions at all, please, 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 please contact me. I'm going to pull up Google Analytics right now. Let's see. To show you where you can give me 1 second, sorry. I'm not sure what is going on. Let me try this one more time. I'm having some type of issues with Google Analytics. Or signing in, sorry. I'm going to try one other account that I have to use it as an example. For some reason, it's caching something that I have in here. Let me, it's not letting me sign into my other accounts. Let me try, let me try getting on with Firefox. All right, sorry about that. I was having a little bit of an issue. So anyway, I got in here and I click my account. Sorry, and I open it up, and you can see your reporting right here. So this will show, and I haven't really done much to the page, but you can see what your analytics visits are. You can see an overview. You can see your demographics based on language, location, behavior, new returning frequency, engagement, technology, what technology they're using, mobile, which devices they're using to come to your page. And you can make other custom variables, and you can create your own variables here. If you want to export your report, you go to export at the top and you click PDF, and this will let you export your document into a PDF. Now, if you want to go to Clout, and you were using Clout as part of your analytics tools, And it's taking a little second. Let me have 1 second. Let me sign in really quick. All right, you sign into Clout. And then once you're here, you go into, you can either look at your, view your most recent moments and see what posts were the best, or you click up here, you see dashboard. And this is where it breaks it down for you. And then, so this is one way to view your dashboard, but what you'll want to do is here and show my score summary. And this is going to break it down. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Do it back again. This is going to show your information based on your retweets, your followers, your list, your mentions, where your information is coming from. As you can see on mine, I have my 47% of my score is from Twitter, 47% is from Facebook. So I'm pretty even on both. And it shows where other parts come from as well. LinkedIn and Clout contribution. You can see your daily change and what your score is overall. And it shows your 90-day summary too, so you have a graph right here. And Blogger works similar to how Facebook Analytics is, and Hootsuite as well. So use both of those. Hootsuite is actually between a Clout and an Analytics. So make sure you're using your tools. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I will gladly go over everything with you. All right, have a great week, and I will hopefully be in touch with you guys soon. All right, bye.